that's right. Jen does not give a shit. Why is the lighting so yellow in here? What happened? I didn't do anything. I didn't touch shit in here. I don't know. It's very yellow weird. Today. And I made a video.
Yeah, it does. Look how yellow that shit is.
It's like I made a video earlier today and it didn't look like that. So it's just like, I don't know. I didn't
cover the camera up and let it go.
I didn't fuck with
recalibrate.
the lights or anything.
See if it recalibrates.
I don't know what the fuck is going on.
It got a little bit better, I think, didn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. I can't really deal with it right now. But I don't know what happened. Like I said, I recorded some shit earlier, and it looked fine. But now it just I decided to do this because why not?
Yeah.
Oh, I did restart it. Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
Because I had to restart it because it was shit in the bed. So you know what I mean. But yeah. So here we go. This was another one of Phantom's recommendations. I thought that I had seen this movie, which is 976 Evil, a long time ago, like back in the 90s on cable. But when we watched it, I was like, maybe I didn't see this because I didn't remember a single fucking thing about it.
No, I'd never seen this.
So, or I did see it and it just like went into the memory hole and I just like didn't remember anything because I could have sworn I saw it. I was like, maybe I just saw stills or something from.
What year did this come out again?
88.
Yeah, I never saw it. I'm pretty. The title sounds familiar.
Yeah.
And just by that title alone, I probably wouldn't have wanted to rent it. I was like, that sounds cheesy.
Because it's like like a payphone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure like most of the people here are like our age, but if you don't remember, in the 80s, like the 976 phone exchange was like pay stuff. Like you'd pay, it was usually like phone sex or psychics or something like that. So
Cry.
The cry one.
Yeah, the cry line. You just get on there and cry.
The cry line.
Yeah.
I mean, you need that sometimes.
That shit was expensive, too. It was like $2.99 a minute, $3.99 a minute?
Yeah, sometimes it was like $3.99 for the first minute, and then however much like each additional minute. Like, I don't know.
And they would do anything to do probably to keep you on there as long as they probably could.
Well, yeah, that was kind of the whole thing about it. So that was kind of the whole premise of this. Now, this movie was directed by Robert Englund. Yes, that Robert Englund, a.k.a. Freddy Krueger. Now, I thought that this was the only movie he had directed. However, I did look at his Wikipedia page, and apparently he did direct one other movie in 2008, and it was called Killer Pad. And I was like, please let that be about a haunted maxi pad. How fucking awesome would that be? It's not. They mean pad like a house. And I was just like, I was kind of disappointed. But I was like, haunted maxi pad, that would be fucking, I think that would be awesome. Oh my god.
Shit, man, what is that?
Stop it.
I got it.
And also, fun fact, I didn't know this either. The script for this was co-written by Brian Helgeland, I guess is how you pronounce his last name. And I was like, wow, that name sounds really familiar. The reason it sounds familiar is because he also wrote the screenplay for L.A. Confidential and for Mystic River, and he also directed Legend, that Tom Hardy movie about the Cray twins, which I think we reviewed, which was a great flick. Yeah, so I thought that was fun. I mean, this was obviously many years before that, but, I don't know if this was when he was just starting out or whatever. But yeah, so this also stars Stephen Geoffreys, who, like most horror fans will know as Evil Ed from Fright Night. And this, I feel like Fright Night and 976 Evil are kind of like the two main movies that he's known for. Because honestly, I feel like most horror nerds know this, but he went into gay porn in the 90s.
Yeah.
And then he got back into horror, I think, like after. But I don't think he went under his name, like under Stephen Geoffreys. I think he went under, was it Sam Ritter or something Ritter? Like he went under a stage name. But he did gay porn for quite a while in the 90s. What
if he made any money?
I don't know. I've never seen any of them.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of like, I was reading a review of it today and I was like, oh yeah, that's right, he did do gay porn in the 90s. I totally forgot about that. But yeah, so I'm gonna say this is a pretty decent 80s movie. It's a little disjointed, I feel like.
It doesn't have a unifying villain. His presence isn't there.
It takes a while for... I mean, Stephen Geoffreys, who plays a little nerdy character named Hoax, I mean, he's very slowly getting taken over by the devil, but it takes a while for that to happen. Like, they build up for a long time, him getting bullied and shit like that. So he has like a reason for doing what he does. But I think maybe the build up takes a little bit too long, before it gets to like the satanic stuff. And I kind of feel like this needed a little bit more gore. I mean, it does have some good, like some decent special effects for this time period, but I feel like some of the kills could have been like...
It's actually a pretty good movie.
It is, yeah, it is a pretty good movie.
Had I seen it back in the 80s, I would have liked it. I'd probably put it there with, like, From Beyond. Maybe under that.
Yeah.
Just a little bit. But in that same family, like From Beyond and fucking Reanimator, it's got that same kind of 90s gestalt to it, It's a movie of its time, and a horror movie of its time, and it's just trying to be different and still fit in at the same time. If you know what I mean. I mean, you had to live during those times to understand what I meant by that. You didn't want to be too different. You wanted to be like the other stuff that was popular.
Yeah.
But you had to come up with your own twist. And it's trying to do that. Especially with a more limited budget.
Yeah, I'm not real sure what the budget on this was. I mean, it was clearly lower, but this, like I said, the special effects were actually pretty decent.
Yeah.
I do think that there's a longer cut of this. Now, the version that we watched was on Tubi, because it's for free on Tubi, and CB said that the sequel, which I haven't seen, is on YouTube for free, but this one isn't. But like I said, if you can get Tubi, like there's commercials, but it's free on there, and I don't know if that's the theatrical cut, because at least from my understanding, the theatrical cut had some shit taken out of it, and that there is actually like an extended cut. I don't know if the extended cut has more gore or more nudity or anything like that. I'm not real sure. But I think even the version that was released on DVD was the theatrical cut. But apparently there is a longer version out there somewhere, so I don't really know what that's all about.
Good thing about the movie is I guess you could say kind of like the main hero, or the main character. He's like a young biker in his early 20s, late.
Yeah, it's like a Matt
teens.
Dillon type,
Yeah.
I feel like.
He's got a fucking Harley knucklehead that he rides around on. So, he's got kind of a biker kind of fucking street cred to him, and he's living fucking at his aunt's place, renting a room up above the garage, and it's a character that, had I seen this in high school, I would have thought he was a pretty cool character. And he's got a pretty hot girlfriend. They show a little bit of nudity of her. Not much, though. But, you had to do that in the movies back then.
Yeah.
Especially in a horror movie.
Had to show some titties.
You had to show. If you were going to have a fucking hot girl in there, she didn't take her clothes off, or at least couldn't see her topless, then you'd get mad. You're like, why the fuck is she in this movie? Why is she even in this movie?
What is the point of girls if they don't show their boobies?
Why is she in this movie if you're not going to see her titties? That was the thinking of the time. I mean, if they were going to show you somebody who's really hot, in a horror movie, you were going to like, we're going to see her naked. The old lady showed up, like his aunt.
Yeah.
And I was telling Jen at the time, I was like, I got a feeling we're going to see her naked. And she says,
spoiler alert, you don't.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Because there was a couple little parts of the scene, it was almost like a porn movie setup where the older woman's fucking standing over the younger guy while he's watching TV. And
that's her son.
Yeah, it was her son, yeah. But, fucking I was going like, is she going to give him a hand job? There was like a weird vibe in between them anyway.
True.
It kind of came across as like incestuous or overly protective or something.
Because she's played by the great Sandy Dennis, who was in like a ton of movies like in the 60s and stuff. She actually won an Oscar for Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. And so she was in this, and she's playing like a way like over the top religious fundamentalist wackadoodle. Yeah. And she's always like wearing these crazy wigs, and she's just like...
She was almost kind of like Carrie's mom, but
but like more
sexual though.
Well, and
you could tell
more
she was
and more comedic.
Yeah,
I mean, there wasn't a lot of funny shit about Carrie's mom. She was horrifying.
She just kind of came off as sexually repressed to me.
She's kind of like Mimi. You remember that character, like from that Drew Carey show?
Yeah.
She kind of, but not that
She's kind of
over the top. But
kind of slightly chubby, middle-aged woman with fucking curlers in her hair. Fucking only thing missing was a rolling pin.
Oh, that
she had a rolling pin.
She had a rolling pin. Yeah. Rolling pin. And she was always like threatening. She had like a bajillion cats because of course she did. And the cats were adorable, by the way. And Because every time I was just like, kitties, because you know how I do.
Yeah.
But yeah, so she had a billion cats. And so her son is Hoax, and she's like always threatening him with the strap, which again was, Tom's like, this is like so like a porn setup. It's like what is happening?
Yeah.
It's like, is she going to go upstairs to get the strap? Or are we going to see something we don't want to see?
Yeah.
We're going to find out.
And she tries to rough up her nephew, who's older.
Yeah.
And it looked like that was going to become sexual. I was just the way they were shooting her, and the way she was acting. You know what I mean? You're just looking at her face. Like that woman's probably hilarious in real life.
Yeah.
She was probably flirting with them dudes before, between the scenes, anyway.
And she's not as old in this as they're portraying her.
She's like 40.
Like, you know, because they put these ridiculous wigs and moo-moos and stuff and like crazy makeup and stuff on her.
Yeah.
But it's like when you see her face close out, I'm not sure how old Sandy Dennis was when they shot this.
Probably about 40.
But yeah, I don't think, I mean, she's clearly not as old as they're trying to. She's not an old woman.
She's middle-aged.
They're old as they're trying to make her. But they are trying to make her like, because I kind of feel like this is, I would call this a horror comedy. It's not like as over the top as something like Evil Dead 2 or something like that, but there are parts of it that are obviously meant to be funny. Yeah. Like Phantom was saying that the part where Hoax crashes his scooter is like the funniest part in there. And I was like,
he does it in front of the girl. The girl he was trying
that
to
wasn't great. That looked like a real.
That was a real wreck.
That looked like a real.
I was telling Jen those little.
And I don't think that was a stunt person either.
Those little. Well, he was going so slow.
Yeah.
It was him.
Yeah.
It was that actor that did. Yeah. They scooters fucking suck. The wheels are real little. The suspensions don't work very well. They're basically kind of like automatics, and the fucking brakes, the fucking what would normally be the clutch on a motorcycle is one of the brakes on a scooter. So every time I jump on one, I forget that. I fucking pull in like I'm gonna pull in the clutch, and the same thing happens to me as what happened to that kid. Fucking you lose the front end.
Yeah.
And it's always at low speed.
Yeah.
If you were pulling a bunch of brake at high speed, it'll just fucking slow down. You know what I mean? Grab a bunch of brake at fucking 10 miles an hour, fucking bike comes out from underneath you. You look like an idiot. They just suck. They're real dangerous. They're real dangerous. The wheels are too small. Controls fucking suck.
Yeah, and as you can see in this one, like I said, it doesn't even look like they planned that or anything. I mean, it looked like it was just, they were like, hey, that looked really good.
Well,
if
you put a motorcycle rider on a scooter, he's going to wreck it. The first thing, because the controls are all wrong. Link fence. Yeah, all the controls are all wrong.
And he's like, whoa, like all over the place, like right in front of him. I mean, he gets up, he's fine, but you know what I mean? And it's funny, too, because he had this, dorky little scooter. Yeah. And, of course, his much cooler cousin has the cool motorcycle.
Yeah, well, he's got a fucking knucklehead.
And didn't Hoax like poke holes in his like muffler so it would sound like the motorcycle, like the louder?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Like because he said, "Listen, it sounds like yours." You know what I mean? He's like Stephen Geoffreys. I love Stephen Geoffreys because I loved him as Evil Ed in Fright Night, and he's kind of given the same kind of energy in this movie. Like he's way nerdier and like way more browbeaten in this one because he was kind of bullied a little bit in Fright Night, but not as much. Like he was like a little bit more confident. Yeah. But yeah, in this one, like he's just this pitiful little mama's boy. Yeah. And but he's still like really endearing. You know what I mean?
I can see why he ended up in gay porn. Yeah. He's of smaller stature and he does have a good face. Mm-hmm. So he'd probably do well in that scene as a fucking twink. Yeah. Or a bottom. So I could see, maybe he's probably gay, so he probably took to it pretty well for a fucking regular paycheck.
I would imagine.
Yeah, maybe drugs involved too,
though. I'm not sure. Like I said, I don't know a huge
amount to your shit. You know what I mean?
I don't know a huge amount about it, but it's like I just remember
I'll look into it. That's an interesting
that.
story. I'd like to find out what happened.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm pretty sure that his porn name was Sam Ritter. I think, but it's like it might be on his Wikipedia page. I'm not really sure. But I don't think he's ashamed of it or anything. I'm just because I feel like everybody knows that knows about him. But you know what I mean?
Hey, those are the only guys in porn that actually get paid.
Yeah.
The rest of the guys aren't making very much
money.
Man.
You gotta make money somehow. So the situation here, we don't know what town this is or anything like that. It doesn't really matter. Although I was thinking while we were watching this movie, it's like some of the scenes where they shot, like the one where Spike, the cool older cousin, like goes to the auto parts shop and everything like that. It's shot in a town that looks like nobody else lives in it. Like it looks almost like post-apocalyptic a little bit. And maybe that was deliberate. You know? I kind of feel like, because there was a couple scenes in there, like, especially that one and, like, one other one, like, with the punks and everything. And I was just kind of like, man, there's, like, nobody around, and there's all these shitty-looking storefronts, and they're all closed. And so it was, I don't know, like, it almost kind of gave me that. And I said, I wonder if that was deliberate. I'm sure it probably was. But, so, yeah, so the situation is, like, this, like, crazy, like, fundamentalist old lady. Her name's Lucy, I think, is her character's name.
Yeah, I swear to God, people, when you see the movie, you're going to see what I'm talking about. I don't, maybe it's just suggestion or something.
Maybe it's just Tom's porn brain. I'm not really sure, but...
I was watching it, and her...
No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, you could tell she's playing a part, and I was just, maybe like her real character was coming through. I was like, I got a feeling we're going to see this chick topless sometime in this movie. And she's going to have magnificent set. She's gonna have, her rack's going to be impressive as fuck. How much you want to bet? It never happened.
No. Well, because I was thinking, I said, I'm pretty sure that's a very well-known actress, like, from back in the day.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm sure that's probably not
that would have
contract.
fit. That would have fit so well in the 80s, though. In the late 80s, had the old lady turn out to have a fucking massively fucking awesome rack. Yeah. That'd have gone really well in a horror movie. Back then, we would have loved it.
But yeah, that one shot where she did come up behind, because she didn't like that he was eating on the couch. She wasn't supposed to be eating on the couch.
It looked like something out of a porn movie.
Even though there was plastic on the couch.
Yeah.
Because I think he pointed out later that he's like, well, that's what the plastic is for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But before he kills that parakeet, he does kill it. They don't show it, but like it's like a sound effect. But yeah, so he lives with his mom, who's really overbearing, and the cousin lives in an apartment above the garage. I am assuming that he's, like, renting from them. Now, this isn't gone into too much, but did the kid's dad die and, like, left them some inheritance or something like that? Because she keeps a bunch of money in the house, and Spike sometimes comes and, like, takes some of it. You know what I mean? And I think there's some shit about, like, inheritance or something like that. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff in here that's not... They don't go, like, super into it. So there's this whole situation, and then I think Spike is the first one to encounter the 976 Evil phone number. Like, it's just like this little card that, like, falls out of a magazine that he's reading or something. And it doesn't say anything. It has, like, satanic shit on it, but it basically says horoscope. So you call 976 Evil, and it gives you your horoscope, like, tells you your future, but, like, in a scary, devilly voice or something like that. So he calls it, and... it kind of gives you these vague, rhyming fortunes, but they sort of seem to come true. Although the thing about it is that Spike calls it a few times, and he seems like he's kind of interested in it, but then, like, after that one time where it tells him basically, hey, go steal that thing that you, like, those gloves or whatever that you want from that auto parts store, and he goes in there and takes them, but then he changes his mind. And then, so he puts the gloves back, and then the phone rings again, like the payphone outside the shop, and it's just like, you know, look both ways before crossing the street, and like he almost gets run over by a car that doesn't have a driver, but then that guy like pushes him out of the way. So then it seems like after that, the devil, or whoever it is that's running the, I'm assuming it's the devil that's running the phone line, that seems to lose interest in him, I guess. I suppose because at that point, Hoax has called the number, and it's kind of telling him, it tells him a few things that happen, and then it's kind of insinuating that he can get powers to, like, get back at his bullies.
Yeah.
And even though he's initially, like, a really nice person, like, obviously he gets his shit kicked in all the time, and he's kind of sick of it. So as time goes on, like, he starts, you know, taking Satan up on the offer, I guess.
I think he lost interest in him because he realized he couldn't tempt him.
Yeah, I guess that's what it was. And he's just like, fuck that guy. Maybe that's what it was. Yeah, and then, like, after that, because there's, like, a private investigator who's also kind of following them around. Because what happens, he kind of comes into the story near the beginning where there's the rain of fish. Yeah. Which is not really mentioned again.
Yeah, that was funny, wasn't it?
Which I guess, just like the fundamentalist woman says, they go outside and, like, all these fish start falling from the sky outside their house. And she says it's a sign from God. So I guess, was that what that was? Like I said, they don't really mention it again, or...
It's just something that they put in an old horror movie. It was something they could do.
Maybe it was a warning, like God's being like, hey, here's a bunch of fish I'm dropping on you for some reason.
I think they were trying to paint like an apocalyptic fucking motif to the movie, that it was nearing the end of the world. Because
maybe that's what it was.
The Earth was opening up, and they mentioned the apocalypse several times in the movie. So I think
true.
They were trying to make it seem like fucking crazy shit was happening. You know, dogs and cats sleeping together, mass panic,
mass hysteria.
Mass hysteria. Yeah, it's that. That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, so I think that's what it was, because there's like a rain of fish at the beginning, and then this guy shows up, who initially says that he's a writer for this like Christian magazine, and he's asking about the fish. But it turns out later that he's a private investigator. Now, I'm not really sure what... It's not really gone into... Is he like a paranormal investigator? Like,
I thought he was a paranormal investigator.
Like, does he suspect that there's some kind of like satanic shenanigans going on here, and he's coming here to see what's going on?
That's how I interpreted it.
Okay, see, that's what... Because he just said like later that he was a PI, because he ends up finding the address where the phone number is coming from.
Yeah.
And he goes there, and it just looks like a regular, 976, like, phone mill. There's, like, a phone sex lady and, a psychic person and, like, all these others. And then what ends up happening, though, is that he goes into this one thing that is supposedly the 976 Evil line, which is run by Mark Dark, I think is his name. And, but he goes in there, and he shows him all the equipment, and he's like, yeah, I shut this down, like, a few months ago.
So it's running on its own.
So it's running on its own, you're led to assume.
Right.
However, at the end of the movie, spoiler alert for a movie that's from 1988, it turns out that guy who he talked to, who seemed like just like a regular-ass guy, you're led to assume that that's probably the devil. Because he was the one operating the phone line, even though he told that dude that he had turned it off. You know what I mean? But then the dude figured out that it was like still running by itself anyways, because he went there one night and it was going by itself.
I guess the... I forgot what I was going to talk about. I was going to say, what was it about? Fuck, never mind. I had an idea to answer one of the fucking questions you brought up, but it slipped out of my mind now. Fuck.
Whether the dude was a paranormal investigator?
Yeah, exactly. I think the dude was a paranormal investigator, and somehow in this movie, in this world or in this universe, paranormal investigators are actual private investigators. They got licenses and shit to do that. That's how I...
maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
Which is an intriguing angle if that was the case. I kind of wish that had been a little more clearly...
Well, it's 88, you know what I mean? And there wasn't internet. There wasn't really a fucking... an understanding of the paranormal scene. All right?
Yeah.
So somebody could hear of the concept of a paranormal investigator, and you might think that, you have to be a private eye to do that job. Yeah. Which has nothing to do with that. Paranormal investigators back in the old days were fucking college students, basically. People that were college interns working for a parapsychology department. That's usually what they were.
Yeah, this guy seemed like...
He's more like a private eye.
Like a PI.
They needed a fucking police-type figure, maybe. An authority figure for the movie. Like
someone was on the outside that was like investigating stuff.
Yeah.
Because he didn't seem all that shocked.
Maybe they're hinting that he's FBI. Kind of like Agent Danvers from fucking...
Or he was like from the X-Files.
From the X-Files, yeah.
Maybe that's what it was.
Agent Dammers. I think it was Dammers.
I think it was Dammers.
Dammers, from the Frighteners. Yeah. Something like that.
That Jeffrey Combs played.
Jeffrey Combs. That's
one of my favorite roles.
Great.
That's so good.
That character, and Shran from fucking Star Trek. Yeah, he was the fucking the best. Jeffrey Combs, fucking characters of all times.
Yeah, CB said Stephen Geoffreys wasn't in 976 Evil 2. Yeah, he wasn't because he got thrown into the pit of hell at the end. And another thing that I thought was kind of weird was that the PI, kind of toward the end of not toward the end, but maybe like 2/3 or 3/4 of the way through the movie, he hooks up with, he kind of like starts dating low-key. Yeah. Was she the principal of their school? Or their teacher? I feel like she was the principal.
Yeah, I don't know.
And it was just really weird because it's like they just kind of met because he came there asking about the students, the two of them.
Yeah.
And then he was just like hubba. Yeah. And then he didn't say that, but I mean you could see in his face he's just like all right. And then like literally 2 scenes later they're like going and doing all this investigation together, and he's just like, oh no, and that's, you know what I mean, like trying to save her life and everything. So I thought that was kind of funny because she's hardly in it, and I just thought it was weird that they like introduced that. It's like, well, we need another hot chick because the little blonde one got killed, because this, okay, I guess this was trying to show how Stephen Geoffreys' character Hoax, how he was like losing his humanity, I suppose, because he calls the number and it tells him, you know, hey, it's, you know, it rhymes, but I don't remember what the rhyme was. It was basically like, hey, go to the movie theater and meet the girl of your dreams or whatever, because he kind of had a crush on Spike's sort of girlfriend. I don't know if it was his serious girlfriend. It was just like the girl he was banging, you know what I mean? And so what ends up happening is that she was at the movie theater with Spike, and he kind of ditched her to go and play poker upstairs in the projection room with all his low-life friends, and like just left her hanging out downstairs. And she's like, well, fuck you then, buddy. And then so Hoax goes there and finds her and is able to kind of charm her into like, hey, let's go get pizza or something like that. But it turns out like they seem like they're getting along, but then there's like a spider on the table, and she, of course, she's a girl, so she's like scared of spiders, but he really likes them, and he's just like, oh, it's okay. And he tries to put the spider outside, but then all the lowlifes come to the pizza place and squish the spider and beat the crap out of him. And then they find her panties in his back pocket because he had stolen them from Spike's room because they had been fucking earlier.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
And so that made her mad.
Yeah.
And she was just like, oh, I thought you were different. That's literally all she said. She didn't call him a creep or nothing. She just said, I thought you were different, but you know, you got my panties, so
yeah,
that's
all the boys
cool.
want my panties.
All the boys want my panties.
Yeah.
Well, now to be fair, he was also watching them fuck through the telescope. I had forgotten.
He was
about
pervert.
that.
He was pervert.
He was a little bit of a pervert, yeah.
He was pervert.
So he was doing that. All right. Yeah. But so she storms out, and then he gets mad and he decides he's going to punish her. Initially, he says he's just going to scare her, and because he knows that she doesn't like spiders, he does like a whole satanic ritual that makes spiders come out her hungry man dinner. And I'm not making that up. Yeah. That is what happens. She puts it in the oven. There's like a whole thing. And then she takes the tin. I think it was a Hungry Man dinner. It looked like that anyway. And she takes like the tinfoil off, and then it's like suddenly there's tarantulas everywhere, and she's flipping out.
Their tarantulas are real too.
And they were, yeah.
They're crawling up her legs.
And I was like, wow,
actually got a whole bunch of tarantulas.
She's a trooper.
Yeah.
That actress.
They're those multicolored ones.
Yeah. I think they're cool. I think tarantulas are cool, but you know what I mean.
The multicolored ones, I think they call it banana spider. I think. I don't know. Maybe they're not.
Yeah.
Like the same ones that they had in fucking Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I thought a banana spider was like a totally different kind of spider. I thought they were kind of like more smaller.
Yeah,
with like yellow markings on them. They're not fuzzy.
Yeah, I don't know what it's called. It's like a tarantula, and it's got yellow and red stripes.
Yeah. I know what that. I know what you're talking about, but I don't know what.
It looked like that kind of spider.
But yeah, there was a bunch of those, and I guess she ends up. Well, he actually ends up killing her. Because he has a pet spider, like a pet tarantula, because he likes them. And he, in a moment of rage, he squishes his own spider, which I was like, oh, that's not cool, bro. And that kills her. And he seems to know immediately that he killed her, even though he did it from afar. And he feels kind of bad about it. But not bad enough that he doesn't tell Spike later, hey, I killed your girlfriend, and, you know, you guys shouldn't fuck with me because I'm gonna be kicking all your asses because I have like Satan powers now. He doesn't tell him that, but he does end up like fucking with all the bullies. Like he grows these big long fingernails and like scratches one of them's face, and because they would give him swirlies all the time, sticking his head in the toilet and whatnot. So he was like getting back at him because of that. And as time goes on, as he gets more and more evil, he starts... I quite like the makeup job that they did on Stephen Geoffreys in this, and I think he did a great job because, like I said, at the beginning, he's just like this total meek, little nerdy character, but when he's like all possessed and everything, and he's got the sunglasses, and they put like this kind of stringy, longer hair on him, Tom's like, he kind of looks like Chop Top.
Yeah, he does.
A little bit from Texas Chainsaw, with the sunglasses and stuff, and the fucked up looking hair. But yeah, they do some kind of cool satanic makeup on him, and he's got like these yellow, cat looking eyes. And And he did a really good job, like, after, like, especially that one where he confronts all the douchebags, like, up in the projection room, and they were up there playing cards, and he takes two of them in another room, and then he comes back and makes the pair of hearts joke, and he has, like, the two beating hearts, like, in his hand. And then the one guy with the blonde front of his hair, I can't remember what his name was. They all had silly names, like because in the 80s, if you had bad guys like bullies, one, they almost always made them look like punks, which is not accurate, but okay. And also they all had really silly names. But I don't remember what his silly name was. They all had really silly names.
Most of them run around trying to act tough. One of them was obviously gay as hell, if you ask me.
Yeah, they don't have regular names like Tim or John or anything like that. They always have to have names like I was gonna say Booger, but that was from Revenge of the Nerds. And I was just like, you know what I mean? And they called him Booger for a reason. He didn't give himself that name. But yeah. So no, one of them. Oh, I remember one of them. The big lunky one. He was Airhead. I'm like, why would you give yourself that name? It's not a real tough sounding name. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't understand it. I don't understand bullies. But yeah.
Those are the people trying to write scripts for bullies.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean.
Yeah. They probably don't really understand bullies. They can't write them.
Clearly they don't.
Yeah.
But then the one guy with the blonde in the front, he actually, Hoax cuts his hand off. And the guy's like, he kind of screams at first, but then he's just kind of, not chill, but he's just kind of like not, because I feel like if you got your hand cut off, you would be screaming and flipping out and everything like that. And he just kind of screams for a minute, but then he's just like, oh no.
Phantom knows exactly the guy I was talking about. Yeah. He says, I can tell he's gay by the way he's walked. And I said, yeah, me too. Gaydar.
Yeah.
He'd come up onto Gaydar. I could just tell by just the way he moved.
First time I saw him, I called him Martin Gore from Depeche Mode.
Yeah.
He didn't really, his face didn't look, but his hair, like Martin Gore kind of had hair like that at some point.
Yeah, and I can just tell he wasn't playing a gay character, he was playing a straight character, but I could tell by the way he moved, that he was gay.
Yeah. But it was just funny that, and then he goes and hides in a bathroom stall, and then he's kind of crying and stuff, and he's got like all his toilet paper like wrapped around his stump. But I was like, wow, he seems remarkably self-possessed for someone who just got their hand cut off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he seemed upset, but I feel like I would have been a lot more upset. But then he gets murdered anyway because Hoax comes in and kills him. But yeah, so then there's the end sequence actually takes place. I think one of my favorite gag in this was he ends up killing his mom. And he leaves her up in the bed, and the cats are eating her. Yeah. Because remember, like, the principal goes up there and finds her, and, like, all the cats are eating her. And then there's a great shot of one of the cats, like, looking up at the camera with blood all over its mouth, like, what? You know what I mean? And I was like, oh my god, that was so funny. That was, like, such a cat moment. But so, yeah, I liked that. But then, like, the whole inside of the house is frozen. And this was a reference to, earlier on, before Hoax goes full Satan, where he says to Spike, his cousin, he said, one day you'll be down here on the floor and I'm going to spit on you or whatever. And Spike says, yeah, when hell freezes over. So I think that's why they made the whole inside of the house frozen. So it was that. And then, like, all of the floor starts dropping out, like, like openings to hell in the floor and everything like that. So they have to keep from, like, falling in there. And then there's, like, a whole sequence at the end where the private investigator guy and the principal lady, they have to, like, the yard opens, like, the inside, it's frozen hell, like, when the floor drops out. But then on the outside, the ground drops out and it's regular ass hell, like, with fire and stuff. But so they're trying to, like, they're on this, what is that they're on? Like, it's a pipe or something, like, going across, like, to the other house.
I think it was a pipe.
I think it was
or an electrical conduit or something.
Yeah, or something like that. Like, it was big enough for them to
Probably something they built across there to give them a way to get across them. Probably.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I don't remember exactly what it looked like. I wasn't paying that close of attention to it.
Yeah, it was just kind of... Well, I was trying to figure out, I was like, what is that, a pipe? But yeah, I think that just in that bit, like, the green screen effects were slightly noticeable. But... I've seen worse, so I'm not going to get to... I mean, this was 1988, right? So... And they didn't have a huge budget. and it didn't look that bad. Like, you could tell it was green screen, but it
was
wasn't.
a movie of its time.
Yeah, it wasn't. I've seen
good.
some shitty green screen.
Yeah.
From movies, like, newer than this one. So it's like, I'm not gonna...
When we were watching these back in those days, we knew it was special effects. We were suspending our disbelief. It didn't have to look realistic. It just had to look cool. You know? That's why you're going to see a lot of Giallo lighting and fucking...
Yeah, this had like, some kind of cool, like, neon lighting and stuff like that.
Yeah, we weren't really looking for realism.
No, I'm just saying that now it was just something...
Yeah, we like theatricality of it, you know.
Oh, Phantom just pointed... I can't believe I'm really stupid to have missed this. He said that was the tube that Hoax sent those messages through.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
Because remember, in case we didn't mention it before...
Banks used to have those back in the
day.
day.
Like, there was this tube that went from Spike's apartment to Hoax's room. So they could send messages back, just like a bank. It had like a little canister.
They used vacuum.
And you put message in it that used vacuum, like to go over.
That was long before text messages.
Yeah.
Nowadays you just text somebody.
Yeah. But it's a lot cooler like that. Yeah. And like and I thought it was funny, like Phantom mentioned this earlier, where he sent one of the fishes over, like all the fish that fell in his laundry basket, which I thought was funny. But yeah, that didn't... I can't believe that didn't even occur to me, because I'm sitting there the whole time going, what is that? What is that pipe? Why is that there?
Well, I was kind of mystified by why they had the message delivering device in there anyway. I mean, that would be very difficult to install, especially for a young guy who didn't have any money. I was like, how the hell did that fucking thing get in his house? I know they're just trying to make him like he's real cool.
Yeah, that's all it was.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, man, how cool would that be if you could like send messages back and forth?
Back in the 80s, you would have thought that shit was real cool.
Yeah, I still think it's kind of
Nowadays, a teenage kid of today would look at that and go, what the fuck is that for? Why don't you just text him?
Yeah.
You know?
Because it was 1988, bro. We didn't have that. I mean, you could have just opened the window and yelled, I guess. It wasn't that far.
Yeah, wasn't that far, yeah.
But, I mean, I guess it was, when they showed it from outside, it was a little bit farther than I thought it was. But still, I mean, it was still in the same yard. You know what I mean? Yeah, Phantom said he was obsessed with his cousin. He totally was. Like, he wanted to be him. You know?
Yeah.
Like, he wanted the same, like, the motorcycle, and he wanted his girlfriend, and...
Yeah.
They were gonna... And really, the thing about it was Spike, I think that he thought he was an annoying little dweeb, but he also did seem to care about him. Yeah. Like, he stuck up for him and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, and kept him from getting his butt kicked.
Yeah.
So he did actually care about him, even though I think he kind of thought he was irritating.
It was his little gay cousin.
Yeah. And he kind of felt like he needed to look after him. Yeah. Because he was just kind of like, you know, whatever. Yeah. He's kind of lame. But...
He's not gay in the movie, though. It's just...
No. He's, like I said, he's just playing kind of a browbeaten little geek sort of character. Yeah. Not so much because I kind of feel like in Fright Night, he was more like a geek because he was like a horror geek.
Yeah.
And like people picked on him because of that. In this one, it just seemed like he was a real, like a mama's boy, like somebody that that never grew up. Like he still had those little V-neck sweaters, and like his mom treated him like a baby, kind of, and it was that kind of thing. You know what I mean? But like you know, at the beginning he still seemed like a nice person, but he just gets more and more evil as time goes on, and it's kind of sad because, like I said, he doesn't make it. I mean, if they'd wanted to bring him back for the sequel, I guess they could have figured it out some way, because, you know, Satan
could come back from the dead.
Come back from the dead, because I guess he just got possessed by Satan or a demon or
and then
whatever.
Went to hell.
And then, he got thrown into hell.
So he wasn't really killed.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, yeah,
but he didn't come back for this.
Yeah.
Spike did. Spike was in the second one, I heard, but I don't know what happens in the second one.
They couldn't probably get the fucking...
Yeah, maybe he didn't want to do it.
Didn't want to do it.
I don't know if he didn't want to do it or if there's some kind of like other... Because I think it was a couple years later.
Because it'd be easy to bring a character like that back because he wasn't destroyed. He fell down in that hole and went to hell.
Yeah.
But he was already possessed, so he'd survive it.
Yeah.
You know?
Although it
seemed
seemed
like he...
come
back and make a return.
It seemed like he kind of... When he was talking to Spike at the end... He said that Hoax wasn't in there anymore, but then when Spike was talking to him about like, oh, we were gonna take this motorcycle trip and like stuff they'd been talking about previously, like it seemed like he was still in there and he felt bad, like for what he had done. So he didn't really fight, I guess, when Spike like threw him out the window and all that other kind of shit. The second one is actually called The Astral Factor. 976 Evil 2 : The Astral Factor. So. And I just, Robert Englund did not direct that one, but you know, I was just, like I said, I'm sure I saw this back in the day because I would have wanted to see something that Robert Englund directed, but I didn't remember anything about it.
I didn't see it. I never saw this.
So, because I'm watching it and be like, maybe I didn't see this. It's like, I think I would have remembered at least the old lady getting eaten by the cats. I feel like I would have remembered that.
Had I seen this when it came out, I would have remembered it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had a lot of the elements of a movie I would have remembered. I would have liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm a little too old for it, but I do appreciate it because I know the time that it came from. So
yeah,
I can give my retroactive opinion of what I would have thought of it at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not nearly on a par with Fright Night, which in my opinion is one of the best horror movies of the 80s. For sure, one of the best horror comedies of the 80s. So it's not to that level, but it's a pretty decent little flick, you know what I mean?
It's just another one.
Yeah.
Of its time.
Like, there were a lot that were made
these,
like this, that are just, you know, they're not fantastic, but it's just like they're entertaining.
Better than Rawhead Rex.
Well, you can say that about most movies.
Yeah, better than Rawhead Rex, yeah.
And that, I kind of feel like that makes me so mad because that was such a good story.
Yeah, well,
and such a good idea.
Rawhead needs to be remade.
And they really need to remake that.
Yeah, they need to remake that.
With a monster, please, that does not have googly eyes.
Yeah.
Please and thank you. That would be really good.
And more pissing on priests to baptize them.
Satanic more of that.
More of that, yeah. Satanic fucking water sports.
Yeah, more of that weird
That's
shit.
fucking awesome, man. That was what stuck out of my mind out of Rawhead Rex. We were watching that in high school, we rented it, and when we saw that fucking Rawhead fucking pissing on that priest going, baptize me, like that, and you could see it, they had it angled, so you just saw the stream of piss, and it was big, it was like a fucking hose.
Yeah.
Because that monster was to be pretty big, a big evil dude, demon dude. Pissing a fire hose of piss on this fucking priest, and he's loving it. Fucking, we'd never seen anything like that before. Like, whoa, this is wild shit, man.
Yeah,
that was fucking wild. It was a satanic baptism, you know. And I remember the movie because of that. That and the stained glass window tricks.
Yeah.
Which we thought was kind of creepy and complicated back then, but you look at it now, there wasn't much to it. It's just we thought it was in those days that there was something to it.
Like, Clive Barker wrote such weird shit, and it's like, it seems like they don't even put, like, 5% of the weird shit that he writes in his books, in any of the movies.
Was Rawhead Rex a book?
I think it was a novella.
Just a novella? I bet you there's all kinds of shit in there they left out.
Oh, I'm sure. Like, I know there was. I read it, but it was a long time ago.
If you guys don't know who Clive Barker is, he's a horror writer. He's homosexual, so he puts all kinds of fucking weird fucking sexual shit in there. Fucking all the bad guys and are fucking perverted and stuff, you know. It's pretty fucking wild. Every one of his fucking stories that I'd ever read or movies always had something sexual to it.
And the books are like way more out there than the movies are. I've never really seen, other than Hellraiser and Candyman, I've never really seen like a great... Midnight Meat Train was okay too.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I've never really seen like a great adaptation, especially of like one of Clive Barker's like weirder...
Yeah.
I would love to see something made, like a series or something made of, like, Weave World. That would be crazy.
The one I want to see him make from Clive Barker was that... You remembered the name of it, but I didn't remember the name of the book. It was about the guy who comes out of prison and goes to work for this real rich guy who's fucking got a huge fucking mansion as, I think, a caretaker of some sort, like a servant. And he realizes that this guy's... has been running this sex cult of really rich, powerful Satanists for like a long time. And they were having sex with each other, and they were having sex with animals, and they were having sex with demons. And fucking, there was offspring from all those unions. Half animal, part demon animals and shit. Fucking, some of them I think were ghosts. They were kind of spiritual beings too. It was like something out of fucking Lovecraft. I don't remember the name of the book, though.
That might have been the Damnation Game.
Damnation, I think is what it's called.
The Damnation Game.
Yeah, Damnation Game, yeah.
Which I have that novel somewhere.
Yeah.
I haven't read it for years.
I'd love to see a movie on that. That one was fucking wild.
I wouldn't mind a reread on that. Maybe I should do a book review on it one of these days, because I haven't read it for such a long time. Phantom's talking about the sequel of 976 Evil. He said it's the same premise in the sequel with the 976 Evil hotline, but this time revolving around a college dean or something like that. The sequel is worth watching, but the first one is better. Yeah, and Hugo said they used to play this film over and over on HBO back in the day, which is why I'm pretty sure I saw it. I just didn't remember much about it. Zach said, y'all mad that The Substance went home empty at the Oscars last night. Yeah, I didn't check. I forgot that the Oscars were last night, and I was gonna check and see if they had won any.
Hey, long as she was nominated, because the Oscars don't really have any street cred. Nobody.
And she got a Golden Globe,
She
anyways.
yeah.
So it's just so I was happy about that.
Yeah.
Like I said, as long as they're nominating shit,
Yeah.
you know, that's fine with me. It doesn't have to win. I'm not. I know that a horror movie is probably not gonna win, but it is
Just
nice that it's getting
isn't it?
recognized.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like horror isn't so marginalized anymore. Like, it's some kind of redheaded stepchild genre or something like that. Because it's like there are a lot of really good horror movies out there that absolutely deserve awards. You know what I'm saying? I watched one today that was Caitlin Cronenberg directed it. So I might do a review of that. But I'm gonna put up a book review tomorrow.
Zach liked my term, fucking satanic water sports.
Yeah.
You got to see Zach. If you haven't seen Rawhead Rex, man, you should see it. It's not a great movie.
It's kind of terrible.
It's a good idea, but it's an Irish movie. It was so close to being good, but the monster fucked it up. But still, it's still worth seeing. Though it's just kind of it's a movie of its time. And
they could do that really good now.
Yeah,
I feel like.
yeah, they could do it really well now. And it wouldn't be CG; it'd be practical effects, like Pumpkinhead. I'd have him like something like
Pumpkinhead. See, that would be rad.
Yeah, it'd be a dude in stilts, you know, like the big fucking werewolves they can make now with the mechanical legs, and dude can run around and look like a real werewolf. He's like 8 feet tall.
Yeah,
that's the way Rawhead Rex should have looked, and he should have in leather armor. This fucking Celtic fucking demon warrior, you know, some demon king.
Yeah, I mean, you want, if this is going to be a monster that's called Rawhead Rex, for Christ's sake, you better make that shit pants-shittingly terrifying.
Yeah.
I don't want some googly-eyed thing whose mouth doesn't move.
Rawhead was like a Celtic fucking warlord, all right? I don't. It was in Ireland, but he was a demon, too. I think, and I don't remember exactly if he was called out of hell or whatever, but he was waged some kind of war. He's in black armor, like leather looking armor, kind of like the Krugen from Highlander, but he was not human. It was like that. I think they kind of fucking used the Krugen to rip off some of what shit that he was wearing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The monster. I remember how fucking that character, he was kind of looked like slightly punk rock. That's kind of how the fucking Rawhead Rex looked, except its face was a rubber mask of like a fucking Neanderthal with big tusks or something, or a pig with big tusks, like a boar.
And like it didn't move.
It didn't move, and its eyes were just bulging. It didn't. The rest of it, you could do that so well today, and it wouldn't cost that much. And you had to put back in whatever fucking perverted shit Clive Barker originally had in that story, like the Satanic Wars. There's probably a lot more in that novella that'd be great on screen. You could get away with now.
Yeah, like I said, you can get away with a lot more than you could back then. So, and you could, I don't know, I just feel like you could do it a lot better.
Yeah. They accidentally revived him because they were down in a fucking field and there was some kind of Celtic fucking rune stone thing.
Yeah, like a standing stone. They
knock it over and he came out from underneath it. And it was like, didn't a lightning bolt strike it? And it fell over.
Something like
that. It came out somehow. They didn't really show it. It tears up an Irish trailer park. It was busting through the fucking trailers and shit. The trailer park, fucking girls with their titties fucking jumping out and shit. Fucking, if I remember correctly, wasn't there some topless shit? Didn't need to come tear through the fucking side of a trailer. There's people having sex and some Irish chick jumps up and their boobs bouncing. It's fucking awesome. It's just that it just...
Tom always remembers the boob
bouncing. Yeah. I was a teenager. And everybody's shooting at it. The Irish are shooting at it with shotguns and shit, double-barreled shotguns.
Funny.
And but the thing is that you could tell it was a local made movie, and some of the people were laughing in the background, you know.
Yeah, I probably would have been laughing.
They're just laughing,
watching that monster running
around.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't be afraid of that, of a googly-eyed monster whose mouth doesn't move.
Yeah.
So, you know. Yeah. But like I said, you'd have to make like a scary fucking monster for that.
Yeah, and the thing is, and I would do it in Ireland.
Well, yeah.
I'd do it in Ireland. It would be an Irish movie.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd have to do it just like the story.
Just like a fucking story.
I feel like. Phantom said, excellent review of Presents. Jenny, thank you very much. Yeah, I liked it a lot. I can see why some people might not, because it wasn't like overtly horror. It was kind of more like a drama, but with a ghost. But I don't know. I really dug it. Phantom said Pumpkinhead versus Jason Voorhees needs to happen. Who would win? I feel like Pumpkinhead probably. I'm Team Pumpkinhead on that one. You know?
Yeah.
Jason versus Pumpkinhead.
Hard to say.
I don't know. Jason killed Freddy, didn't he?
You can't really kill Jason.
Well, I didn't think you could kill Pumpkinhead either. Can you?
You could put him back underneath the fucking stump that he came from. You could deactivate him. Isn't that what they did with him?
Yeah.
Well, he's a demon.
Yeah.
So I don't think you can actually kill it.
That's what I mean.
You have to play by its rules. You have to deactivate it somehow.
We're not real clear on what Jason is. I mean, he's got to probably be a demon by now, too, because he keeps fucking waking back up after they kill him.
The only thing that would explain Jason is that he's a demon. Yeah. Nothing else explains it.
So it'd be demon versus demon.
He's not mortal. Maybe you could say he's some kind of strange zombie.
Yeah.
Like the undead.
I guess.
Yeah. Like he's been killed, but he keeps coming back. That type of deal.
Phantom says Jason X would totally defeat Pumpkinhead. Okay, maybe the sci-fi version. Like the cyborg Jason. We got a super chat from Senor Sticks. Thank you very much.
What's up, Sticks?
Would you be willing to try emergency water from the past? You can certainly buy it online. Emergency water.
Emergency water. He must be talking.
I don't know.
That sounds fucking sketch. There's some emergency water from the past. I think he's talking about those little
Is it
metallic...
urine? It's urine, isn't it?
No, I think he's talking about those little metallic bags of water.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah.
But they're probably like beyond.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Probably like beyond their date is what he's talking about.
Like
if that's what you're talking about, that water will not go bad in there. What's gone bad is the container.
Yeah.
That it may be out of spec now, so you can't squish it without it popping. Before shit like that. But if it depends on how far out of date it is. A lot of times, out of date is kind of fucking real. Lenient. It's real. You know what I mean? You can get a couple more years out of it.
Yeah, depending on what kind of packaging.
If it's canned in a real fucking tin can, forever. It'll last forever.
Yeah, it might not taste that great after a couple decades, but it's not going to kill you.
They found canned food that's 130 years old and opened it, and it wasn't. It hadn't been compromised, which was 130 years ago. The canning technology wasn't good. Usually, it did get compromised.
Yeah.
But sometimes they'd open them and it wasn't compromised, and you could eat it.
Yeah.
You could eat it. It's just that why would you?
Yeah. Unless it was a stunt.
Yeah, they're usually discolored. Like, and it smells okay. But, you could probably do a thing. There's probably no bacteria in there that would hurt you. It's just that it's been a long time. Who knows what food, whether or not that, who knows if that's actually food anymore? I mean, is it nutritious? Been in there a long time.
That's what I mean. The only reason you do it is for a stunt. Because there's a whole YouTube channel. Is that YouTube channel still around?
Yeah, that was that guy opening all those MREs up.
And he would open old MREs, like from the oldest ones he could find, and like would eat the stuff in it. And cans. If it looked like you could still eat it. If it looked really...
eat it. He goes, okay. It doesn't have much of a flavor, but it doesn't taste bad.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't say, man, you fucking eat that shit, you crazy. He was making coffee out of fucking freeze-dried coffee that was like 70 or 80 years old.
Like I said, you would just do it for a stunt, because it's not like it's going to be delicious or anything like that. It's like you're just showing that you still can.
Yeah.
Like
I forgot what that channel was. What the name of that channel was.
Yeah, I remember you used to watch it sometime years ago, and I didn't know if it was still around. But it was kind of interesting.
He opened up a can of fucking... some kind of war rations, German war rations from World War I. And some of it had gone bad, but some of it was still good. And he ate it. He didn't eat all of it, but he ate some of it. And he's like, yeah, okay,
Not great. But...
It's safe, but, it's not very appetizing.
Right. I kind of feel like that.
He's tasted, he's going, it probably wasn't appetizing when it went in there.
That's what I mean. It might have tasted like shit even when it was new. So.
Yeah.
You don't know how much it's degraded.
Yeah.
It might not have degraded as much as you think.
People, if you read recipes that are over 100 years old, people didn't have a modern palate. They didn't have the same expectations for flavor.
They would just eat whatever.
They'd eat anything, yeah.
Senor Six says, Jason is a half deadite. He was human once. If you go by Evil Dead lore.
Yeah, he's a deadite. Yeah,
that's actually like
a demon.
Because it's like a demon, but also kind of like a person. So so if we're going by Evil Dead rules, then I don't know,
That's a
man.
good
I
explanation.
still kind of feel like, I don't know. I went and saw Freddy versus Jason in the movie theater. I was full on expecting Freddy to win.
The worst monster of them all is that fucking Stragoi from fucking Blood Vessel. Because not only is that an ultra powerful undead vampire, it's also a fucking wizard. All right, it's a sorcerer. It's hard to beat magic.
I mean, yeah, you'd be hosed.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of why I was thinking that Freddy would win over Jason, because Jason is kind of supernatural in the sense that he can come back from the dead and stuff, but like Freddy can like wander around in your dreams and make whatever scenario, which almost kind of makes him like a wizard.
Yeah.
So I kind of felt like, so when I saw the movie and like Freddy kind of gets, well, he kind of gets killed, like he gets beheaded, then I was like, bullshit.
Yeah. Well, Blood Vessel, even though it was a great movie, it was kind of bullshit because when you know the powers of a Stragoi and he had those powers, they actually demonstrate them, he'd be unbeatable. They couldn't have survived it in reality if that character was actually in there. Dudes with machine guns couldn't survive that.
No.
That thing could fucking do magic and run you on fucking remote control, possess you. It could do all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, you wouldn't have a...
And the thing was centuries old. It was ancient, so it would have vast intelligence. It would know all the tricks in the book, and you wouldn't stand a chance.
No, not at all.
Nope.
But like I said, that's kind of when you write horror, you have to watch that. You have to make your monster like powerful and scary and stuff like that, but you can't make them so powerful and scary that it's like the protagonists don't have any chance to fight against them, because it's like...
Yeah, Stragoi was a king of the undead. You know what I mean? If you can command armies of the undead, crossbreed with dead animals, dead humans to make fucking undead offspring and do all this weird crossbreeding that they could do and shit, fucking they're living as long as they could, being sorcerers, you would not stand a chance. Dracula couldn't stand a chance against one.
Yeah.
So, you know. But it was in the movie because, you know, they wanted to show you what it was like. Although, if you ask me, it would have won. You know.
Phantom points out that Freddy's magic was useless in the real world. Okay, I guess you got me there. Didn't he try to bring Jason into the dream world at some point, or am I remembering that wrong? It's been like a long time since I saw that movie. I just like was looking at my notes just now, and I think I failed to mention. But 976 Evil, do you want to guess what the Rotten Tomatoes score on this is?
0.
No.
What?
15%.
15%, okay.
15%.
Okay.
I very rarely see ones that are 0.
Well,
there are a couple.
Rotten Tomatoes isn't accurate. They'll rate old horror movies very lowly, and it's because I think there's a lot of young people on there that kind of hold a movie to modern standards in terms of fucking the acting and the special effects.
Although, to be fair, this did not get great reviews when it came out either. So...
I probably would appreciate it more retroactively,
retrospectively
than I would have at the time. But I would. These movies were made to be watched on VHS at home. You and your friends went and rented it, and maybe like 3 or 4 others, and you'd have fucking snacks, and you'd talk about girls, and then you'd watch these things on days that you didn't have dates. Yeah.
Or you could even have the dates come over.
Yeah,
and
that
then
too.
Get a blowjob while you're watching.
Get a blowjob. Yeah, I got a blowjob watching fucking
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I
remember that story.
Yeah, Shell Remillard, fucking sexy ass fucking redhead. She's still around. She's fucking working at a fucking hospital. She's a nurse.
That's
head nurse now. Yeah.
That's really funny.
Oh yeah, man. Did a good job too. Fucking hair on the back of my head standing up there.
Wow.
Trying not to look at that fucking screen because all that shit was going on. I was trying to fucking distance myself from that.
You'd think Texas Chainsaw Massacre would be a little bit of a boner killer.
It was at her house and she put that shit on.
Okay. So maybe she's freaky like that.
No, it was an excuse to get me over there.
Oh, okay. Hey, I'm gonna...
Yeah, you want to watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre? So yeah, okay. 15 minutes later, I was getting blown.
Because I kind of feel like the whole second half of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is just screaming.
About the time, okay, I remember when the action started. I was fucking popping that shit out and fucking backing up on the back of that couch right around the time that shit got fucking put on that fucking on the meat hook. That was about that time. I was like, oh man, that's nasty. And I turned over.
Man, that's nasty. Never mind.
Yeah,
let's do something
to watch this fucking ginger redhead with long hair. She was built kind of like you.
Really?
Yeah, about similar build. She was a little bit shorter than you.
Well, I can put on a red wig and we can put Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
You had freckles over your whole body though.
Go to town.
She had freckles over her whole body.
Okay, well, that'll take a while to draw.
Yeah, what do they call that? Piebald?
You can relive your youth.
Yeah.
I got the
And that was
Texas
Steve's
Chainsaw
ex-girlfriend. He was
Massacre.
pissed. Steve
Really?
was pissed, yeah.
What was his ex-girlfriend?
It was his
He
ex-girlfriend.
doesn't have anything to say
but I
about
think
it.
she left him, so he was mad.
Oh, okay.
But the thing is it was like a year before. And he'd bring that
And
shit
he
up.
was still mad?
He was
like
still
a year
fucking
later?
mad about a little bit.
Oh.
You and your cheap-ass girlfriend.
He caught feelings.
So what are you talking about, cheap? He was catching feelings.
Yeah.
You little
That's,
cheap-ass
that's
girlfriend.
why.
Yeah.
Because he was still talking about it that much later.
Yeah.
Aw. That's really funny.
He got over it.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was a long time ago. But yeah. That's really funny. But I don't know why I always remember you telling me that.
He was dating Carrie at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, or just starting to date Carrie. But he was dating Carrie, but it was like off and on stuff. I mean, Carrie became like a... Then he fucking stayed with Carrie like solid for a long time. And back in those days, a long time was like 6 months. It's like, damn, you're still going out with her? You guys get married.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Senor Stick says, any good horror ripoffs that surpassed the originals? Ooh. I could probably think of some if I had longer to think about it, but I can't think of any offhand. I have seen like remakes that I thought were better than the originals. Not usually. Mostly the example I usually bring up of that is the Blob. Like the 1988 Blob is miles better than the original Blob.
Yeah.
Miles better. I'm sure there's other ones, but I can't really think of any right now. And I mean, obviously The Thing, but I even kind of feel like that wasn't even a remake because it was a lot different than the original movie, and it was just like another version of the novella, like another adaptation of it. So it's like I don't really consider that a remake necessarily. But yeah. All right. So I guess we're going to wrap it up for the evening. Like I said, if you would like to watch 976 Evil, it is on Tubi for free. And CB says the sequel is on YouTube for free. I have not seen the sequel, so I don't know if it's any good or not. But the same guy that played Spike is in that one too, like the cool guy. But Stephen Geoffreys is not in it. And probably later on tonight, we're going to go and see if we can find some of Stephen Geoffreys' porn.
You almost would have
said... I was like thinking about it earlier. I said, maybe I should just look that up, like just out of curiosity, you know what I mean? It's 90s porn, so it's probably like
that's
pretty
just
cheese.
probably on. That's just probably on X-Hamster. I could cast it to the fucking television.
So we'll see what it's like.
I'll let you see that shit. Fucking, I don't really want to see that shit.
It sounds like I'm gonna go in the bathroom to watch it.
I gotta take a shower.
I don't necessarily really want to watch it. I'm sure it's like I said, but I just want to. I'm just kind of curious.
You want to get an example of what he was doing.
Of what he was doing, yeah. Because
they must be talking about the 90s or the 80s, so it would have been.
It was 90s.
90s.
It was 90s.
Okay, it's gonna be a poor quality.
Probably. That's what I was thinking. It's not like it's going to be great quality.
It's not going to be an HD or anything.
Yeah. Phantom says, I've seen his work just to see it. He does gangbangs.
Damn.
All
is
right.
he in the center of it? Or
damn,
is he just,
hardcore. All right.
They're doing that to him, or is he just one of the faces
I
of
guess
the crowd?
we'll find out. I guess we'll find out. For science. I'm going to go and look for science. But yeah. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this review, and hopefully you guys have a good rest of your evening. I'm going to put up a book review tomorrow. And then for Wednesday's show, we'll be doing the fucking serial killer from Florida, Bobby Joe Long, which, wow, what a shithead this dude is. Yeah, I've been watching documentaries about him and reading shit about him for the last couple of days, and yeah, he's a real piece of work. So this is kind of from our neck of the woods. It's actually Tampa, which is a little west of us, but same kind of thing. But it happened back in the 80s. So we're going to be talking about that on Wednesday, so hopefully you guys can join us for that. And again, have a good rest of your evening. We'll see you guys again on Wednesday.